How is it going, everyone? So we have a ton of Black Myth updates. We gotta just call it Black Myth now, since they had noted that Black Myth will be these action RPGs rooted in ancient Chinese myth and folklore, and now we have the latest game, the sequel, or the latest in the Black Myth entry of games, Black Myth Zhong, and we'll talk about that, but also right off the bat, while Black Myth Zhong is going to be a ways away, they have teased that there's more Black Myth Wukong that will be coming. There's a dedicated Zhong website, but it was noted, why not make a Black Myth Wukong sequel first? The studio ponders. GameSign says, we are confident in this new project. We can make refreshing changes, create new things while taking a hard look at our past flaws and regrets. Clarifying Keeley's teaser, the studio reiterates to all friends who love Black Myth Wukong, the westward journey won't end here. That is seemingly teasing DLC for Black Myth Wukong, which they had alluded to, or a full-on sequel to Wukong. I imagine it's gonna be DLC. That just makes a lot more sense to me, given that the game's been out for a year and Zhong legitimately just started development. I would imagine that Zhong is not going to be out until 2028, 2029 at the earliest, and I would think that DLC is something that they are already working on. Maybe it'll be a sequel, but the idea of a sequel, the issue becomes, okay, you would have to do Zhong and then you circle back to Wukong and do a sequel. You're talking 2033, 2035 to get a sequel out. I think it's gonna be DLC, and what I am hoping for is, now the game comes out on Xbox. You have all the attention on the Xbox release, let's give that some shine, and then by the end of the year, now that the game is available on all major platforms, maybe they can finagle a Switch 2 release. I don't know, that would be insane. If they could get it on Switch 2, bravo GameSign. And maybe they could, given the game does run fairly well on the Series S from what I've seen, but after that, I think it would be great to announce the DLC maybe by the end of the year, around the time of the Game Awards, and then set up for a release during Chinese New Year in 2026. That to me makes a lot of sense. Now, they do seemingly like to do this aspect of announcing things on August 20th, or having major events or major things happen with game signs on August 20th. The original reveal, the game release, the announcement of the Xbox One, or the release of the Xbox One release, so maybe they'll tie it in with that August 20th date. I could see that as well, and you know, we'll see how it turns out, but I'm happy that Wukong is going to continue. But now, also, looking ahead to Zhong, they do have an official website already out, and they do have a Q&A, which I do want to go over as well. Why announce Black Myth Zhong now? Now, let me just first add, before I get into their statement, I think a lot of people do hate games getting announced way too early. In this case, I don't have that big of a problem with. GameSign at this point has established that they are here as a major studio, that, you know, they can do teaser trailers. It's a teaser trailer, and they're being upfront with you about the fact that it won't be out for years and years. What Bethesda did with Elder Scrolls 6 was just garbage. The game wasn't even starting development. It was trash. We all know it was trash. That was them pretending like they had a big game in development when they didn't. This is actually entering active development, and they're pretty much telling you that that is the case. With Bethesda, they're doing that trash while they were still deep into development on Starfield. Like, get out of here with that. That's the type of stuff that I hate, where they're clearly intentionally being misleading. On top of that, GameSign's just dropped a Game of the Year. They're announcing their next game on which aspect of Chinese mythology it's going to be rooted in, and they're telling you again up front that it's going to be years and years away. There's a level of transparency that we don't see often in game development, and it's not like this is something coming from a totally unknown studio or anything like that. I do give them some leeway. I still don't love it, games getting announced, but they also do have this shtick of announcing big things on August 20th. So I do think the GameSign's aspect of this is a little bit different than a lot of other publishers. Namely, again, I go back to something like Elder Scrolls 6 with Bethesda, where they were clearly just being misleading with that. There's no other way to spin that story. They were just clearly being misleading, and we're what, 7 years removed from that announcement. We're still probably a couple of years away from that game coming out. Maybe 4 years, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know exactly how long, but still years away, and by the time of that reveal, it'll be 9 years. Okay, if 9 years goes by between this reveal, I'll crap on GameSign. I don't think that's gonna happen, but they have a Q&A. Why announce Black Myth Zhong now? Because it's our tradition to report our progress to players on every August 20th, and this year is no exception. However, with the project being a little more than an empty folder at this stage, that's hardly any game footage we could share. To keep all hands focused on development, we decided to deliver a CG short to let everyone know that a new project has kicked off. Great! They're being transparent right away, and they have this shtick of August 20th that they want to share the game development update and what they're working on. Fine, I'm all good with that. Why Zhong now, and why not a Black Myth Wukong sequel first? Thanks to the unwavering support from our players, the first Black Myth title has landed safely. Upon completing the journey with the Destined One, we now aspire to take a tentative first step to build a more distinct game experience, to challenge ourselves with a bolder features, and to bring fresh ideas to our world and narrative designs. Zhong came as a natural choice born of that aspiration and other contributing factors. We are confident that in this new project, we can all make refreshing changes, create new things while taking a hard look at our past flaws and regrets. And to all friends who love Black Myth Wukong, the westward journey won't end here. As a second title in the Black Myth series, how does Zhong compare to Wukong? Judging by the name, Black Myth Zhong shares the same foundation of ancient Chinese myth and folklore in terms of genre. It'll remain a standard single-player action RPG following the same business model as before. However, you won't be playing a monkey role this time. That said, we're still exploring and experimenting with the concrete differences between Wukong and Zhong so take it easy, let us impress ourselves before we serve it to you. Is there a rough release date for Black Myth Zhong Well, to be honest, even Yokar himself has absolutely no idea. Please stay tuned for updates via our official website and our official accounts on YouTube, X, Facebook, and other platforms. Just a warm reminder, starting today, our username across all platforms will change from Black Myth Wukong to Black Myth. All future official news relevant to Black Myth titles will be posted via Black Myth accounts, one-time subscription, no further action needed, because, you know, there's probably gonna be Wukong DLC, and then you have Zhong as well. Exciting times for Black Myth as an IP. They note on what platforms will the game launch on: PC and all mainstream console platforms. I would imagine that would be PlayStation 6 and next Xbox. Could you share more on the story and gameplay? Hard to say for now. Looks like we're not even done with the outline yet. The dev team, on the other hand, is absolutely fired up, itching to tell new stories, and will add new fun to the game, all the while making sure Wukong players feel right at home and catching them off guard in the best way. Sweating a grin intensifies. So there you go. That is what we know about Zhong thus far. Now, if you go on over, and this is me just doing a Wikipedia search, Zhong is a Taoist deity in Chinese mythology, traditionally regarded as a vanquisher of ghosts and evil beings. He is depicted as a large man with a black beard, bulging eyes, and a wrathful expression. Zhong is able to command 80,000 demons to do his bidding and is often associated with the 5 bats of fortune. Worship of Zhong later spread to other East Asian countries. In art, Zhong is a frequent subject in paintings and crafts, and his image is often painted on household gates as a guardian spirit, as well as places of business where high-value goods are involved. He is also commonly portrayed in popular media. So I'll go through this page even more to, you know, brushing up my knowledge on Zhong because I'm gonna be honest, I don't know much about a lot of Chinese mythology, but excited to learn more. Wukong expanded Wukong to a lot of people, and I imagine Zhong will do the exact same. Now, Wukong has been explored in other games and mediums as well, as has Zhong but as far as in the gaming realm, Wukong did do a lot of good. But that'll do it for me. Again, Wukong is gonna continue, whether that be a sequel. I think more than likely it'll be DLC, and given that they've worked on the Xbox port, but over the last year, I'm sure they worked on updates and patches, but I could see a DLC already be deeper into development. Maybe not closing in on completion, but I could see that coming out before Zhong and Zhong just entering active development now. Gonna be a ways away. Honestly, I would say 2029, 2030. If they can get it out by 2028, that'd be great. But this is kind of a new IP in the sense that, yes, it's Black Myth, but it's a whole new setting, new character, etc., etc. But that'll do it for me. Let me know all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. As always, sound off there. Gonna be a ways away for Zhong but we made the way for Wukong, and there were times where I didn't think Wukong was gonna be a real game because of how good it looked, but it came out and it was a Game of the Year contender, so hopefully this will be the same. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.